Vatim ale haaretz Hamas. And the world was filled with Hamas. Genesis 6:11, Parshat Noach, this week's Parsha. It certainly feels like that right now, doesn't it? To us as Jews, Hamas is everywhere. Hamas is on the news, it's in our conversations with each other, and certainly it is all over social media. The war with Hamas is playing out in public in our children's schools. It is taking place in our places of work. It is being seen in the ignorant statements of people who we wish knew better. It is in the aching silence of those who we wish would speak up. On a stormy day like today, Hamas is as present as rain, the very rain which wiped away its biblical predecessor. In such a time when it feels like storm clouds are forming and the waters are rising, when Hamas is everywhere and filling the earth, if you are an astute student of Jewish history, you may well be wishing that you were a shipwright, that you were someone who made boats. And you may be asking, you may be feeling some of these grand questions like, where do I find relief from the storm? Where do I rest? Where do I find comfort? Where is my ark? And my friends, I'm going to tell you both the very good and the very bad news right now. We are building it right here in this room. In this coming flood, our ark is this very place, our synagogue, and this greater place, our Jewish community. And tonight, I want to tell you something wonderful. I want to tell you something wonderful about Jewish people who are building this ark with you. This year, I have the honor of sitting on our Beit Din, the rabbinical court for the Reformed Jewish community of Toronto. People who want to be Jewish, who have worked hard over the course of a year, who have studied and thrown themselves into the Jewish community and into a Jewish life, they come to us. And we sit with them, and they tell us their story, and they answer our questions. And their rabbi, who has loved them and worked with them and guided them, tells us about what incredible Jews they will be and how they will strengthen us as a people. It is both a solemn and serious task and one of the greatest joys I have in my role as a rabbi. And there is one question that we often ask that is very traditional. It is found in the writings of Maimonides in chapter 14 of Mishneh Torah Hilchot Isurei Bia. Asks the Rambam, what is the procedure when accepting a righteous convert? We ask them, don't you know that at this very day, the Jews are afflicted, and the Jews are crushed, and the Jews are subjugated and strained, and that suffering comes upon us? Don't you know this? And if they answer, I know, and still I would be part of you, we accept them immediately. I don't think that I or any of my colleagues have ever phrased it quite that way. But it is still a question that I have seen asked and that I have asked myself of very dear students. Are you sure? Are you sure you want this life? And I'm proud to say that without a moment's hesitation, without a skipped beat, the answer I hear so often is so similar to the one that Maimonides describes. It goes something like this: yes, I know, and I'm scared, but I love my Jewish spouse, and I love my Jewish family, and I love this Jewish people, and I know that there is evil, and I know that it can come for the people that I love, and I will stand with you. I will stand at your side. A student of mine from Atlanta wrote to me last week, just before Shabbat. These are her words. Hi, Rabbi Kaye. I just wanted to say that I have thought about you and your family a lot this week for a few reasons. One is because I'm thinking of all the Jewish people everywhere, all the Jews I know and love. And another is because you are the person that gave me the most enormous gift of my life, the ability to count myself as Jewish. I have thought back to the things I wrote, specifically to the commitment to accept Jewish burdens as my burdens, endlessly this week. I am more grateful to you today than ever. I hope that you and yours are staying close, that you find peace in each other. Shabbat Shalom. The day before that, a young couple came knocking on my door. He's Jewish. She's not. They're newish to Toronto. They got my name from a colleague at his home synagogue. They saw my face and they said, sorry, should we have rescheduled? Because obviously I was not doing a great job at hiding how I was feeling in that moment. And I said, of course not. Come in. Tell me your story. And they did, and they are in love. And my heart healed just a little bit because I know one day, a little more than a year from now, after they go through all the different things that we ask, I will stand with them beneath the chuppah. And she closed by saying, you know, especially now, it's important to me to make this choice, to become a Jew, because I know today it's more important than ever. And there's another student who has a beautiful little baby with their Jewish spouse, but conversion was never really what they wanted or considered at any point. And they said, no, but we're going to raise the baby Jewish, and I want to be a full partner, so I've been studying. And they've been coming to Tat Shabbat, and they've been learning Hebrew, and they've been zooming into services, and they've been singing the songs, and they've done every last little thing we've ever asked them to. And even before those terrible moments on October 7th, I had a meeting with them on my calendar to discuss that maybe actually, you know what, hey, this Judaism thing might actually be for me. And in those dreadful days, if there was ever a moment to run away, if there was ever a moment to run away from being part of the synagogue, from being part of this people, if there was ever a moment when the danger of just being and loving a Jew was at its highest, that was it. And instead of running away, they ran to us. A lot of people cry in my office. And as of that meeting, I am one of them. I went to mikveh this morning with my colleagues, and by my side, we welcomed 2 new members of the Jewish people. One is a tiny little baby, the light and pride of his father's proudly Jewish home. He will likely not remember that moment in the mikveh. But the other is a courageous, beautiful soul who made this choice for themselves and only for themselves. And today is a day I know they will never forget. And when I opened the Eternal Record, which is a book we have that holds the names and the date of immersion and the personal information for each person who chooses Judaism, for our greater Toronto Jewish community, I noted that last Friday, 4 people finished their journey and became members of our Jewish people. Last Friday was the day of rage that paralyzed so many Jewish institutions globally with fear. And these 4 people got up and said, yes, and became us, knowing every last piece of what that includes. And it's not only people choosing and affirming Judaism from other faiths and from different backgrounds. Rabbi Barishel tells me that her inbox has been overflowing with interest and inquiries for the last 2 weeks from young Jewish families who have never really been part of the synagogue, who've never prioritized their Jewish identity. They are reaching out because they too want to be part of our people, when just as easily they could have stayed drifting away. One wrote, "Jewish community was always somewhere on the checklist, but these days it feels like time." And another, "I ran away from my Judaism, but it is so important that my kids have it, today more than ever." Vatimale haaretz Hamas. The world was filled with Hamas. Well, yeah, I suppose it was. I guess it still is. But that's only how the Parsha starts. Hamas is not how our story ends. It ends with a dove. It ends with a messenger and a partner that Noah chooses. It is that dove, of course, that shows such endless loyalty. It is the dove that comes back for everyone else, even when it could fly away, be safe, and leave the ark behind. Noah chose so well to trust the dove. And we have chosen so well, too. Shabbat Shalom.